What if the biggest reason your manifestations haven't appeared has nothing to do with bad luck, weak belief, or a lack of positive thinking? What if the real obstacle is something much quieter, something you've been doing without even realizing it? Most people believe manifestation is about trying harder. They repeat affirmations, visualize their dream life every day, monitor signs from the universe, and constantly ask themselves whether they're doing it right. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The more desperately you try to make something happen, the more you unknowingly create resistance. That sounds backwards, doesn't it? After all, we've been taught that effort creates results. We've learned that persistence, hard work, and constant focus are the keys to success. But quantum manifestation follows a very different principle. It doesn't respond to force. It responds to coherence. Think about it for a moment. Whenever you're obsessing over a goal, checking for progress every day, or wondering why nothing has changed yet, your attention isn't actually focused on having what you want. It's focused on the fact that you don't have it. And that's the signal your nervous system continues to reinforce. From the outside, it feels like motivation. From the inside, it's often tension. You're trying to convince reality that something should change while your body is quietly preparing for disappointment. This creates two completely different messages. Your mind says, "I already have it." But your nervous system whispers, "What if it never happens?" The quantum field doesn't respond to the words you're repeating. It responds to the state you're consistently living in. And consistency is always more powerful than intensity. That's why people often spend months, or even years, using affirmations without seeing lasting results. It's not because affirmations are wrong. It's because repeating a sentence cannot override an internal state that's still operating from fear, urgency, or lack. Imagine trying to tune a radio station. If the signal is full of static, turning the volume up won't make the music clearer. You'll only hear louder noise. Manifestation works in much the same way. The issue isn't that your desire isn't strong enough. The issue is that too many conflicting signals are being broadcast at the same time. Quantum theory suggests that observation influences possibility. But observation isn't just what you're thinking. It's the complete state of your system, your emotions, your expectations, your nervous system, your habits, and the identity you carry every single day. When those parts are aligned, reality begins responding differently. Not because you've forced it, but because you've stopped creating interference. Modern neuroscience points towards something surprisingly similar. When you're constantly chasing an outcome, your brain enters a state of monitoring. It keeps asking questions like, is it working? Am I getting closer? What should I do next? That ongoing mental pressure activates stress responses inside the body. Instead of becoming more creative and receptive, your mind becomes focused on prediction and control. You're no longer experiencing life, you're trying to manage it. Ironically, that's the very state that blocks new possibilities from feeling natural. Have you ever noticed something interesting? Sometimes, after weeks of worrying about a problem, you finally give up. You stop checking, you stop obsessing, you simply move on. And then, almost out of nowhere, the opportunity appears. The phone rings, the message arrives, the solution you've been chasing suddenly finds you. Most people call this coincidence, but perhaps it isn't coincidence at all. Perhaps it's what happens when resistance finally disappears. The moment you stopped forcing the outcome, your internal signal became clear. And clarity is what reality responds to. This doesn't mean you should stop having goals. It doesn't mean you shouldn't dream bigger. Desire itself isn't the problem. Attachment is. There's an enormous difference between wanting something and believing your happiness depends on getting it. One creates inspiration, the other creates pressure. Pressure tells your nervous system that the present moment isn't enough. Coherence says, I'm already complete, whether this arrives today or tomorrow. That quiet confidence creates a completely different frequency, not one of desperation, but one of stability. And stability is far more powerful than excitement. Because excitement fades, coherence remains. The greatest shift in manifestation doesn't happen when you learn another technique. It happens when you stop believing that reality needs to be controlled. The universe isn't asking you to push harder. It's inviting you to become internally consistent. Because the moment your thoughts, your emotions, your body and your identity begin moving in the same direction, manifestation no longer feels like a struggle. It begins to feel inevitable. The moment you stop chasing your desired reality, something profound begins to shift inside you. At first, nothing seems different. The world looks the same. Your circumstances appear unchanged. Yet beneath the surface, your entire internal system begins reorganizing itself. This is where most people become confused. They expect transformation to arrive with excitement, dramatic signs, or an overwhelming emotional breakthrough. Instead, real change often arrives in silence. It begins with a subtle feeling of relief, as if an invisible weight you've been carrying has quietly disappeared. This isn't giving up. It's something far more powerful. For the first time, your attention is no longer consumed by the distance between where you are and where you want to be. The constant measuring stops. The endless questioning fades. Your mind is no longer calculating how much longer it will take or whether you're doing enough. That shift changes everything. The human brain is designed to search for patterns and solve problems. While this ability has helped us survive, it also creates an unexpected obstacle. When your mind treats every dream as a problem to solve, it keeps reinforcing the idea that what you desire is still missing. The more you monitor the future, the more your nervous system believes you haven't arrived, and the body always responds to what it believes. When your internal state is dominated by pressure, urgency, or emotional tension, every decision becomes filtered through survival instead of possibility. Creativity narrows, intuition becomes quieter. Even opportunities standing directly in front of you can go unnoticed because your attention is locked on what hasn't happened yet. This is why forcing rarely creates lasting change. Trying harder often strengthens the very identity that feels incomplete. But something remarkable happens when that pressure dissolves. Your breathing naturally slows. Your thoughts become less repetitive. Instead of constantly reaching for tomorrow, your awareness settles into the present moment. This isn't passivity, it's availability. And availability creates space for intelligence to emerge. Many of life's greatest ideas don't appear while we're desperately searching for them. They arrive while driving, walking, showering, or sitting quietly without expectation. Why? Because the mind finally stops interrupting itself. Instead of pushing reality, it begins listening to it. This state allows intuition to speak more clearly than fear. Decisions become simpler. You stop overanalyzing every possibility because the need to control every outcome slowly disappears. Rather than forcing life into a specific shape, you begin recognizing the opportunities already unfolding around you. This creates a completely different relationship with reality. Instead of asking, "How can I make this happen?" you naturally begin asking, "What is life already inviting me toward?" That single shift transforms effort into awareness. Throughout history, many philosophical traditions have pointed toward this same principle. Inner peace has never been described as doing less because of laziness. It has always been described as removing unnecessary resistance. When the mind stops arguing with the present moment, clarity emerges on its own. You no longer need endless reassurance. You stop checking whether every coincidence is a sign. You stop demanding immediate proof that you're moving in the right direction. Confidence begins growing quietly, not because someone convinced you, but because your own experience becomes evidence. This is the beginning of genuine inner coherence. Your thoughts stop competing with your emotions. Your emotions stop fighting your body. Your actions begin reflecting your values instead of your fears. For perhaps the first time in a long while, every part of you starts moving in the same direction. That harmony creates momentum that cannot be manufactured through willpower alone. Ironically, this is often when life starts responding differently. Unexpected conversations appear. New ideas seem obvious. People enter your life at unusual moments. Solutions emerge from places you weren't even looking. To an outside observer, it may seem like luck, but from the inside, it feels more like synchronization. Nothing magical has happened. You simply stopped blocking your own perception. And once perception becomes clear, reality begins revealing possibilities that were always there. The journey forward is no longer fueled by desperation. It becomes guided by quiet certainty. Not certainty about every outcome, but certainty that you no longer need to force life to prove your worth. That realization is where authentic transformation truly begins.